For those of you I have not met yet, my name is Kimber. I am the program manager in Colorado Springs. As you get up and out of your chairs, I'm going to remind you that we have our CubeFit Scramble program going on right now. All you have to do is take at least one class a day to get the letter for the day. And then at the end of the week, you'll take the 5 letters you got from Monday through Friday, unscramble them to create a word, and then submit them via the link on Slack. So if you have any questions about that, let me know where to find that link and stuff. And then at the end of this class, I will give you the letter. If you've missed the previous day's classes, you can just go watch the recordings of them. We did have our educational webinar yesterday on sleep, and it was a really good one Dorian presented. So if you missed it, I highly recommend going to watch the recording. And then we have our cooking demo next Wednesday. We're doing fresh corn and tomato fettuccine, which sounds delicious if you ask me. So we are going to get to our balance break. We are all up out of our chairs. And we are starting with a standing cat and cow. This is my favorite exercise. Go ahead and plant those feet hip distance apart here. We want to have a nice soft bend in those knees and toes facing forward. So even though we're focusing on our upper body for a second, we still want to have a good stance in our lower body. That's going to come in handy when we get into our balance challenge. I want you to interlock your fingertips here and press them out in front of you. So if this is uncomfortable for your wrists, sometimes they're just really tight, I want you to interlock and bring them like this. So I'm going to show you both ways. Either way, you're going to pull those shoulder blades apart and imagine you're sending your rib cage in the opposite direction as those hands. So you're either here pressing out in front of you, palms facing forward, or palms facing your chest, pulling those shoulder blades apart. Tucking your chin to your chest. We're holding here for a breath in, a breath out. On the inhale, release. Bring your hands to your low back. So your fingertips are pointing down, thumbs wrapping around your hips. Bring those elbows together and then send your rib cage forward. And if you can, start to look up towards the ceiling. Holding for the breath in, the breath out. Inhale, release, take it forward. Fingertips intertwine, either palms facing forward or away from you as you pull the shoulder blades apart. Round out the upper back, sending your rib cage behind you, and then tucking chin to chest. Hold it. Inhale, release. Hands come to the low back, or if you'd like a little bit more, you're going to interlock those fingers, send them down to the floor behind you, and pull those shoulder blades apart or together. Rib cage comes forward, and then if it's okay in your neck, you look up. Hold. Release on the inhale. One more time through a little quicker. So we're going to interlock, press forward, pull those shoulder blades apart, round out the chest, back. Release, hands come to the low back or reach towards the floor, shoulder blades together, rib cage forward, look up. Go ahead and release and roll those shoulders out. Keeping that same stance, hands to the side. You're going to lean over to the right on the inhale, sliding the fingertips to the outside of the knee. Exhale, come up, and inhale, switch sides. So we're really moving, we're working on the mobility of the spine. This is going to help us be able to activate our core a little bit better when it comes to that balance, which our core is where that balance stems from. So when we move laterally or side to side, our goal is to get our fingertips to the outside of that knee joint without compensating. So rounding forward, sending the hips out, shrugging the shoulders. If you're not there yet, that's okay. That's just our eventual goal. That's considered good mobility in the spine. We're going to do one more to each side. And then we're going to come up center. Fingertips are going to stay resting at your side so your shoulders are relaxed. On your exhale, I want you to rotate to the right. Inhale, back center. Exhale, rotate to the left. Now, while you're rotating, I want you to imagine you have headlights on your hip bones and they need to stay facing forward the whole time. It's going to force you to find that rotation in the rib cage rather than the knees, the hips, the ankles. So we're really mobilizing that mid back, activating the core. Your arms are just along for the ride, so they're not driving that rotation. Go ahead and meet me back center. Roll those shoulders out. Keeping that stance, I'm just going to turn to the side. We're going to come into some controlled kickbacks. We're starting with that right foot, and this is going to take a little bit of balance. So if you need to start holding on to something, you can. But I want you to shift your weight to your left foot. Your right leg is going to kick back, activating your buns as you kick that leg back and then drop it forward. Core is engaged. Take it back, bring it forward. Now notice the rest of my body is not moving. So when I kick that leg back, I don't want to hinge forward. I want to isolate that in the glute. This is not only activating that glute for balance, but it's opening up the front of that hip, which is really tight after sitting. We have 2 more. Last one. Bring that right foot back. We're staying on that side. We're going to bring it out to the side now. So same rules apply. Everything is isolated in that hip. We're now going into that glute med, smaller muscle on the outside of your hip. Now notice I'm leaning a little bit like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but I'm holding that lean. So when my leg goes out, I don't lean more. That's why I can isolate that work in the hip. This is a glute muscle that doesn't often get activated. We often forget about it. We focus on the big one. So it's really important to get that hip abduction. One more, and then we'll switch sides. So shake that left leg out, plant the right. Left leg is going to go back to start. So we're squeezing that glute, kick back, bring it forward. Now, because this is controlled, it's a really small movement. So a lot of times we want to make it big and really kick that leg back, but that's not what we're doing today. We're going to keep that nice and small. Everything stays really steady except for that leg. Core is engaged so that your low back doesn't arch with the movement. 3 more. 2, 1. All right, that left leg is going out to the side now. So take the left, kick it out, bring it in. Knees and toes stay facing forward. So when we go out, we don't want to rotate. Just like that rotation in our torso, we have headlights on our hip bones, and we want them to stay facing forward. Almost there. We have 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. All right. We're coming to our main balance challenge of the day. We are going to start small and progress. You always have the option to just stay with the first level. And then you can always try to progress and be like, that's not working today. I'm going to go back to the beginning. So we're going to shift our weight to that left leg again. I want you to start by just lifting the right leg up into a 90-degree angle at the hip and knee, and then bring it down and bring it back up. Lower and up. Now, same rules here apply. Nothing else moves, just my leg. So, option to stay here, tapping and then lifting. Or you can add a kickback. So you're going to lift up, bring that leg back without touching the ground, and come into that same kickback we were just doing where we squeeze the glute, bring it up, and bring it back. Now, a modification of this movement is to tap in between. So you kind of break that up, reset, and kick back. So find whatever works best for you. Slow and steady. Now remember, if that left ankle is wobbling, it kind of makes you feel like, oh, I'm unbalanced, but that's actually not true. So your little ankle muscles are just firing to make you balance. So if you feel a little bit wobbly, that's okay. That's why we're practicing. Kids, try to squeeze that left glute to help pull in the core. One more on this side. And then we'll switch. So shake it out. Right foot plants. Left leg, we're starting with that march. So start small. lift, find that 90 degree in the hip, 90 degree in the knee, tap down, and repeat. Check in and make sure nothing else is moving. So my core is engaged, I'm not rounding forward. Think about bringing the knee towards your chest rather than the chest towards your knee. And then, option to progress. So you either tap down, then kick back, or just move through. Lift up, kick back. Lift up, kick back. Find a spot to focus on. Core is engaged. Arms can be out wherever they feel like they help your balance the most. It's a little different for everyone. Slow and steady. Remember, adding movement to balance makes it 10 times more challenging. So if just adding this little movement, it makes you fall all over the place, that's very normal. So we're practicing. Last one. Go ahead and come back centered. Shake it out. And that is all we have for today. Thank you for joining me. The letter of your day for CubeFit Scramble is C as in cat. C as in cat. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if not, I will see you next week.